Hey there, everybody. David Pease here, broadcasting from Studio Squim. And today we are doing, as you can see from the title card, we're opening up some booster packs from the Scooby Doo expandable card game. This was a fairly short-lived uh, card game that came out around 2006, if I remember correctly, uh, based loosely, well, actually pretty closely on the X-Files CCG uh, model or the game mechanics from the X-Files CCG because it came from the same people that made the X-Files CCG. They kind of simplified some of the rules and were able to put it around the Scooby Doo license. Now, I was introduced to this by a friend of mine from Stephen from the uh, Alien Investigations channel. Of course, he is a huge X-Files CCG fan, and both he and Mike Perrine from X Files CCG. I'll have links to their YouTube channels down in the description here after we're all done. But they kind of introduced me to this Scooby Doo game, and having grown up with Scooby Doo, uh, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the show. So when I heard that this game was out there, I had to have it, right? I had to have it. So I went and bought myself the two-player game. Stephen and I played a couple of games. In fact, I see Stephen is joining us now live. Thanks for being here, Stephen. Appreciate it. Um, so he and I played a two-player game. You can find that on the Alien Investigations channel. But I was hooked. I had a lot of fun. It was great to see all the different monsters and locations and villains and all the the friends, witnesses type cards that are in the game, and it really kind of felt like a lot of fun. Putting all those things together and making your own little episode, much like what they accomplished with the X Files CCG. Like I said, there is a two-player expandable two-player uh, box that you can get. Everything you need is in here. All the different cards that'll get you started. Uh, Tokens for the Scooby Snacks. Little checklist there. There's a checklist that you use. I'll describe that in a little bit, but you can still find this out there on eBay for a fairly decent price. So that's out there. If you're a Scooby-Doo fan like myself, you see this and you want to get into it, you can probably pick it up for 15, 20 bucks. It's not too hard to get started. The boosters are out there. They're around $5 or $6, and I'm quoting these prices as of this broadcast, which is February 6th of 2025. So if you're watching this in the future, those prices are definitely going to change there. Oh, thank you, Stephen, for that compliment. I appreciate it there. I wanted to show off this boutonniere, a little black rose with the red sparkle there. If you're curious about that boutonniere, I'll have a link to the creator in the description there. If you're jealous enough that you want to get one, you can reach out to her through Instagram. So I'll get that out there. But I could talk about men's fashions all day. We're here to open up boosters. And I do want to very quickly show you here just some of the cards that are in there. So as I'm going through the cards here, you'll know what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for. So we'll go to the malt shop here, and we'll start with these character cards with Scooby Doo. Now, I would put a location here side by side, but we're a little tight on property there. So we'll start here. Scooby Doo. This icon here, it just shows that he's a character as opposed to some of the other cards, events and locations and friends and villains slash monsters. Those are out there too. So this just indicates that he's a character card. This -2 comes into play when you go to a site. If I keep mentioning the X-Files CCG because I'm so familiar with it, and this game really borrows a lot from that. But this -2 will help you when you go to a site, and we'll look at that next. It has what's called a fright value, and this negative number is called the bravery value. So the fright value is a positive number. It'll be either 10, 11, or 12, depending on how many questions you ask when you win the site, but what you'll do is you'll take different members of the Mystery Incorporated gang, you'll put them together, and you'll send them to that site. And you want to make sure that this negative number is enough to take that fright value down to 0 or below. If it is 0 or below, you have successfully investigated the site. You were brave enough to go through the site there and solve that little mystery there. Throughout the different turns, you may go to a site and say its fright level is 10, and the Mystery Incorporated gang, all together, Fred, Velma, Daphne, Scooby, and Shaggy, all together add up to a -10. So you'll go to a site that maybe has a fright value of 10, and it looks like you're good because you've reduced the fright value to 0. Well, and here's an example of that location. Before I move on to the monsters here, we'll look at this. This is one of the locations, and here's that fright value I was talking about, 11 on this one. This is considered a major location. There are major, minor, and master locations. The master locations are typically a fright value of 10, major locations 11, and minor locations 12. And the difference, other than the fright value, is a master location is fright value of 10. It's a little easier to resolve that mystery at that site. So you get to ask one question, and you'll start the game with a small deck of cards that represent the different episodes from the TV show. And what you're trying to do ultimately is guess which episode your opponent has as their mystery card. So as you solve these sites, you earn the right to ask, or you'll actually, I beg your pardon, I'm getting the X-Files a little too confused there, but you have a site or a deck to the side of your play area, and I'm getting a little distracted here because Stephen always has the great quips, so I gotta be ready. Drawstring pants, I hope they never, I'm going to take that comment off. Drawstring pants, hopefully, if you're thinking of like those weightlifter pants from the 90s, I hope those never make a comeback, but I digress. If you successfully investigate your site, you'll flip a card and scratch that off your list, and that card is not the episode that your opponent is hiding. There's a little more to it than that. This isn't a learn to play so much. I want to kind of just get to the cards. So without getting too deep into the weeds here, here's another type of card that we're going to run into, which is an item card denoted by this little flashlight icon here. And here is what's called Scooby Snacks. Now these items, friends and villains, all have a cost to them. Otherwise you just throw cards down and who knows what would happen. The cost is in Scooby Snacks, and you'll start your turn. If you're Mystery Incorporated, you'll start with 10. If you're the villain or monster side of it, it will depend on how many you have left after your turn as the Mystery Incorporated team. You start out with Mystery Incorporated, starts out with 10. You'll spend those, but you want to be a little conservative when you buy items and friends to help manipulate your bravery value, because you need to keep some of those Scooby Snacks for when you're the villain. So you don't want to just blow them all on your Scooby turn, and then when you're the villain, you don't have any left to buy items or villains. And speaking of villains, here we go. And oh, Kevin Morris, you. Here is an example of a villain and or a monster. And to save a little time, the friends cards are very similar. They just have a different color, and they will modify the fright value. Now you can see this monster here. He's one of the more valuable ones. He costs 5 Scooby Snacks and adds 6 to the item or the location modifier. So if you had this one, if you had this location and someone played this this particular monster on here, you would have to beat 17. Now the friends and the items will help you out. All the different items, they have different effects or modify things, which doesn't show up too well on camera here, but you'll essentially go back and forth playing villains, items, friends to change that fright value from the original. If it was one of the master locations, you'd change it from 10 to 10 to 17, and then I'd play something that lowers it down to 12, and then you would play one that raises it to 13, and then I would play something that lowers it to 9 or 8, and then we'll apply the Scooby Gang's modifiers to get those going. Last one I'm going to show you here real quick is an event. This is another one where you can see the cost here in Scooby Snacks. It's got a little treasure chest there. That's the icon for events. Cost is 3 on this particular one, and down here in the effects, it tells you what that particular card does when you pay those 3 Scooby Snacks. It could change the fright value on the location. It could change the bravery value of one of your characters. It could send one of your characters from the location back to the malt shop, which is kind of the neutral area. Where your characters will start, and then you move them to the different locations across the play area as you play those locations out. So lots of little gotcha type things that will keep you on your toes that your enemy can play, but a lot of good events too that will help you maybe negate a monster, send a monster off the play area to the discard pile, or those kinds of things. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. Now I do have a few. I'm going to bring this back because I want to show there are some cards that I'm looking for. Now I have invested a bit in this game, but still a lot of holes in my collection. And these are some of the cards I'm looking for. You can see the rarity there and the type that it was. I was talking about events, villains, monsters, all those kinds of things. These boosters I'm going to be opening are from the base set. There was a base set and one expansion. Stephen, you're killing me. You're killing me. He's teasing me about the Kevin Morris Mafia. There's a character in the X-Files game that Stephen and I play quite often called Kevin Morris, and Stephen masterfully plays Kevin Morris, a combination of Kevin Morris and a couple other cards to always get the upper hand on me. And so I call that group of cards the Kevin Morris Mafia. So he's having a little fun with me here. No, there is no Kevin Morris card in this or anything even slightly resembling it. Thank goodness. I might actually have a fighting chance at this game without them there. So where was I? There was a base set that released in 2006, an expansion that released shortly after called Scooby Doo and the Aliens 2. These boosters that we're going to open are from the base set. So these cards that you see here that I'm looking for from the base set, a couple really, really good ones. The ones at the top, the buffet table and dining room, those add to your Scooby Snacks. So you start out with 10, you'll spend them, 2 on this card, 3 on this card. Those two, the buffet and the dining room, will add more Scooby Snacks to your pool. So it gives you a chance to play a couple more cards. The mummy, when the mummy comes into play, the mystery incorporated member of your choice may not be used this turn. So it's essentially taking one of the mystery incorporated characters off the play field. They're still in the field, so you can play something that might negate that or bring them back. But that kind of felt like it was a good card to have, especially since, like I was saying, their bravery adds up to -10. Any change in that could upset the balance there, and your opponent might not be able to get around that. I'll say this in the Scooby language. I won't read anything. I don't see anything. Play this card to immediately negate any card or card effect played by your opponent. So a pretty valuable one. Stephen will recognize that one from the Lone Gunman cards there. You'll see if you're familiar with that, you'll see some similarities as we go through these. I don't think he believes us. When you're allowed to look at any clues, play this card to allow you to take one additional clue card from the pile. That's those cards I was talking about earlier that represent the different episodes that you're trying to guess which episode your opponent has. That gives you a chance to look at another one, which is also another valuable effect to have. A Mask of Zen, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, Zento. Play the mask on a Mystery Incorporated member. That member may not use their printed special ability until a card effect is used to remove the mask. Now, I was talking about when we're going to switch real quick back to the malt shop to look at Scooby. I was talking about, or it mentioned a card effect that you can see down here toward the bottom of the character card. There's a game effect here. Scooby's is pull any item from your deck once during the game, so that way you don't have to wait to get that item that you've been wanting to play. You can use Scooby's effect once to find that item card and pull it out of your deck, put it in your hand. So that Mask of Zentao would take that away from you, and each Mystery Incorporated person has a different game effect that you could use that against, use that to negate their effect. Show him the clue, Shaggy. Is another one where you can look at more clues. Play this card when your opponent is able to draw any clues. You may also draw an equal number of clues. Devastating if yes, Stephen, these cards that I'm going through right now in this presentation, these are cards that I'm hoping I'm going to find in these boosters as we go through. So show him the clue. Play this card when your opponent is able to draw any clues. You may also draw any equal number of clues. So say they played a minor location and were able to win that location, to successfully investigate it, and they can draw 3 cards. Guess what? Play that event and you can draw 3 cards as well. So it either keeps you in line with them, so no one has the advantage, or maybe you have the advantage and that takes you 3 closer to eliminating the episodes and being able to guess which one your opponent is hiding from you. The next one I'm looking for, there were 2 of me. Play this card during your Mystery Incorporated phase to allow one of your Mystery Incorporated members to be at 2 locations for the rest of the turn. This is pretty cool because Stephen and Mike, who I had mentioned earlier, they did an interview with one of the designers of this game, and a question that I had actually asked, because the Mystery Incorporated is a -10 bravery, and the master locations are 10, so that's, you just break even, and then when you get into the major and minor locations, they're 11 and 12. So you really have to have an item or a friend or something up your sleeve to beat those. So it seemed a little risky to break up the Mystery Incorporated team if you have more than one location in your play area. And I asked, was it their intention for you to be able to split the Scooby Gang up? And he said, yes, of course, that's what they do practically every episode is they split up. And of course, Fred invariably goes with Daphne, I wonder why, and Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby end up going in their own group. So this card, there were 2 of me, would help me in that I could have Scooby Doo in, at 2 different locations at the same time, and to be able to add his fright value and then use a friend or an event or an item to get that bravery level over the top so that they can successfully investigate that. So a great way to be able to split your teams, to split the Scooby Gang into groups and be able to maybe investigate 2 or more sites in one turn. Train coming is an event. Play this card to return a card just played except an event to the player's hand. You may play another card in addition to train coming during this round, you can play that on yourself and essentially play the same card twice. I like the sound of that. So those are the cards I'm looking for. I'm hoping I'll find in these boosters. I've got 26 of them, but they were purchased at on eBay through various auctions uh, uh, from different sellers. So any odds of there's X number of foil cards or X number of super rares per stack of packs is all out the window. So we're really just kind of crossing our fingers here and hoping that we might find some foil cards in here or any of the ones that are on that list. Any cards that I think might be good to take a look at, we'll throw up there onto the malt shop up here, and we'll take a closer look. But that having been said, let's bring the Monster Mansion up to the front here. You can see the booster packs here on the side. Let's go ahead and get started. This only happens when I'm on camera. There we go. Let's see what happens. And the foil on these cards is kind of funny because you can almost, well, you can pretty much see through the foil on these. I don't think that's going to change anything really as far as figuring out what's in the pack. It's just kind of a funny little thing there, but it never affects the cards in the boosters I've opened. It's never had any kind of bad effect on the cards themselves in the booster. Just perhaps the foil that they used for this particular print or the ink or something like that just kind of faded. But let's take a look here. So we've got Chandelier. This is another item. You can see again the flashlight there. Costs 3 Scooby snacks. Discard the chandelier to capture a monster at the same location. So what that means is I was showing you that the Kooky Space Ghost was played at that location. What you can do is capture that monster, and what that means is essentially send that monster to the owner's discard pile. So that'll save somebody comes up with the Kooky Space Ghost and adds another 5 or 6 to the location. You can play that chandelier to get rid of that monster. So that's actually a pretty good card. I want to say that's a common card, but it's still a good one to have in your deck. Snow Ghost, another example of a monster. You can see another kind of premium one there, +5 to the fright value of a location and costs 5 Scooby snacks. He also has an effect. The Snow Ghost raises the fright. Oh, it just explains that it raises the fright level by 5, so no special effect that goes with that one. Here's another event. Well, it got away. Play this card to return any item in play to the owner's hand. Not too bad. If there are items that help you as the Mystery Incorporated, there are items that help the monster villain sides. Either way, either side that you're playing, you could use that card to help you out. Cost is 3 Scooby snacks, not too bad. But if you're as the monster villain, you're on a tight budget, so you may not have the Scooby snacks to be able to pull that off. There's another one, hollowed out log, another item for only 2 Scooby snacks. Well, now the cards were upside down, so I think we're getting into the rares. Here's Dog Napper. That's actually an interesting one. Another monster or villain that you can play. Adds 2 to the fright value of the location you're at. Costs 4 Scooby snacks, but the effect is a little more interesting. In fact, let's send this right up here to the malt shop since I'm going to talk about it a little bit. When the Dog Napper comes into play at the same location as Scooby Doo disappears, is removed from play for the rest of the turn. So that's what I was saying, where it's kind of a tough balance when the Mystery Incorporated all in one location together adds up to 10. Taking one of those characters out can kind of put you in a bad way. So you got to hope that you've got the items or the friends that are going to be able to help you out, or events that are going to be able to help you out. Speaking of events, There goes our only clue. Play this card to force your opponent to return a clue to the top of a clue pile for Scooby Snacks. Now that's kind of a funny gotcha thing because as I was saying, as you investigate sites and as you successfully investigate those sites, you draw a card and that eliminates one of the episodes on your checklist. This actually takes a card and puts it back on top of the checklist. Now, even though they know that that card is not the one that you're holding on to, they have no choice but to draw it again. So it's pretty much worthless. It's essentially wastes an investigation because you have no choice but to reveal one that you already knew was there. An extra copy of the mask. Thank you very much. I'd appreciate that. We'll see if one comes up. But thank you very much. I'm more than happy to trade with you, Stephen, too, if there's something you're looking for. Another villain, Dracula, that adds 3 to the fright level, only costs 3 Scooby Snacks. There's a location, Strange Cave. This is a major location that I was talking about, so you can see the fright value is 11. It's part of the Wolf's End Lodge. If you're a huge fan of Scooby Doo, you know what that is. They use a lot of the locations. Well, all of the locations are from the TV show, which makes it a lot of fun. Which, like I was saying, kind of brings back that nostalgia for you. Makes it a fun way to play. Here's an event, finding a bone. Take the top card from your play deck. Take half the cost of that card in Scooby Snacks from your opponent, up to all of them. Oof, that's bankrupt your opponent, possibly. That's would give you a big edge there in playing other cards, and there's nothing they can do to counter it. Here is a friend, not friend. She adds 1 to the. She's got the blue color that identifies her suit as a friend, but she adds 1 to the fright value. So this is one that the villain or monster side of the game would play. This color raises the fright level of location by 1 while in play. So that's no good for the Mystery Incorporated. It only costs 1 to play too. So it's an easy one to put out there. Oh, look at that buffet table at 2 o'clock. That's one of the ones I was looking for. Let's throw that up on the malt shop and we'll take a peek at it real quick. As you know, I keep talking about Scooby Snacks, and this one helps you out. Play this card to add 1 to your Scooby Snack supply, and it costs 0 to play. If it cost anything, it would kind of negate the point of getting a 1. So you can just, if you draw that 1, you can just immediately throw it down for free and get an extra Scooby Snack. So that's I'm glad I found that one. Add that to my deck. I have a game coming up here in probably a couple of days, so that'll be good. Here's another location, a major location. This is the stage, part of the theater group of locations there that you can play. So that's the first one. Not bad. Got one of the cards I was looking for right off the bat in the first one. No foils, but I don't know that that's going to happen. I did this same thing with another booster opening video that I did for Battlestar Galactica collectible card game, another great fun thematic card game that I play, and purchased like 16 different booster packs from the base set. Ended up getting like 2 or 3 foils, which was pretty amazing, considering I purchased them all from different vendors at different times. So that was nice. Let's start off here with an item, a giant steamer trunk. Play this card on a location. You may discard giant steamer trunk to search your play deck for any items. So that's another way to, if you're in the weeds. Oh, they're already revealed. It looks like I'm going to get a foil character card here in just a second. But let's get through this real quick here. An event. Ghost Soup. Play this card to force your opponent to lose up to 3 Scooby Snacks immediately. Another bit of a gotcha card there that I wouldn't mind. In fact, I have that in the deck for the game that's coming up this weekend. White Timberwolf. This is a friend for the Mystery Incorporated. Costs 4 Scooby snacks and takes 1 from the fright level, but he does have an alternative effect here. It says play White Timberwolf to lower the fright level by 1, or discard to move Scooby Doo back to this location. So if somebody used a card to remove Scooby Doo, send him back to the malt shop, then you can bring him back again. So that's kind of helpful. Here's another event. This is he's taking this this font that they use kind of makes it difficult sometimes. He's taking a ride on the Ferris wheel. Play this card to return any monster in play to its owner's hand. Another big help if someone plays one of those high value Kooky Space Ghost or anything like that. That'll help you out a lot. There were 2 of me. That's is that one that I was looking for? Yep, that's so far this is turning out pretty good for me here. That's the one I was talking about at the beginning of the show, which allows you to have a Mystery Incorporated character at 2 different locations in the same turn. So not a bad deal, but we're going to go straight from that to a foil card, Velma. Now, if you, and you kind of have to buy that 2-player starter kit that I was talking about in order to get those episode cards and the Mystery Incorporated gang and be able to play, get that checklist and the rules and that kind of thing. But they did have the character cards in foil throughout the different packs, and there are other cards too that are also foil, but there's Velma. Once per game, you may lower the fright level of a villain by 3. So that's a big help. I'm going to leave that up at the malt shop there. We'll go right back to the Haunted Mansion area here. So that's a good score. That's very cool. Here's an event. Hey Baylor, play this card to capture a monster. You must move a member of the Mystery Incorporated to the malt shop to use that effect. So you get rid of a monster, but you kind of handicap yourself a little bit with that one. So yes, a previous trade that Stephen and I did where I procured a Velma from Stephen, so now I have 2. We'll see what I can do with that. Maybe I can trade it off, but still exciting to get that foil considering the odds were stacked against me on that. Here's an item handkerchief for 2 Scooby snacks. Play handkerchief on Scooby Doo. Discard handkerchief to lower Scooby's bravery by 1. Uh-oh, so that's one that your enemy would use on you. Here's another location, Franken Castle. This is the master location I was talking about that only costs 10. Dead End. Oh, that's a big effect. It's free, so I definitely want to read what this one does. Play on the Temple in the Hills, a very specific location that you can play that at. So that kind of restricts the usability of that one. Play on the Temple in the Hills. You may discard this card to search your play deck for the laundry location, or play on the laundry discard to lower the fright level of the location by 1 for the rest of the turn. Now the key to that one is with the master and major locations, you can play those simply by paying the Scooby snack value, or I think the actually locations are free. Yep, they are. So you can only play 1 location per turn. Major and master locations you can play down to the field without any trouble, but a minor location, which allows you to draw 3 of those clue cards, you have to play those on a successfully investigated master location. So the value of this card is it allows you to, if you've successfully investigated the Temple in the Hills, you can go and search for that that minor location and be able to play it by discarding that card. So you can kind of you don't have to wait to draw it in your deck. You can search for it right away. Another item, plunger arrows, costs 3. Discard the plunger arrows to capture a monster. It's another good one to have a couple of in your hand or in your deck, and Skeleton Head. Not to be confused with Skeleton in the Electric Chair. That's a super rare from the Alien. I almost called it the Alien Investigations as a nod to Steven there, but that's from the expansion. This one, Skeleton Head, it's free. Play on Secret Cove. You may discard to search your deck for a Redbeard's cabin location. So the same effect on that one. You can use that to, if you've already successfully investigated the Secret Cove as a master location, you can use that Skeleton Head to go to your deck and immediately find that minor location and play it to the fields. All right, what do we have here? We Can't Go Home Now, another event. Costs 3 Scooby snacks. There are a lot of packs, and I can be quite wordy, so I might actually kind of speed it up a little bit and only read off the ones that are important here. There's Redbeard's cabin. We just saw that's the minor location that you would pull with that Skeleton Head if you wanted to draw 3 clues. Ghost Soup, we've seen that one already. To force your opponent to lose up to 3 Scooby snacks immediately. Another location, museum rear entrance. That's a minor one, so you can see the fright level is 12. Here we go. We might ask you the same question. This is actually a pretty good one. Play this card when your opponent is allowed to draw any clues. You may draw a clue. So if they successfully investigate a location and are going to draw a clue, you get to draw one as well. They might be drawing 2 or 3. You get to at least draw one, so you can kind of keep up with them. There is the 2,000-year-old mummy that I was looking for. I don't know, is it my birthday today or something? I'm getting all these great cards. When the mummy comes into play, the Mystery Incorporated member of your choice may not be used this turn. So that's what I was talking about. There's no effect. You won't be able to use the effect there. That wasn't a very good view. Or their bravery value. So another great card. I'll put that Velma back there in the deck. So wow, that's what 3 of the. Oh, no one wants to see that. There we go. We'll get right back to the draw cards. Mr. Greenway. You may attach an item to Mr. Greenway. If item is used, discard both at the commercial break. Otherwise, both stay in play at this site. So you could play Mr. Greenway and an item and have them stay there. The commercial break is the switch between when you are finished being the Scooby player or the Mystery Incorporated player, and you switch to being the villain. That's the commercial break, and then when you switch back to being the Mystery Incorporated, that's the end of a turn. Congrats on pulling that mummy. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That was a good find. Yeah, that's going to be a good one to have in my deck. I might switch 1 or 2 cards out in the deck for my upcoming game. Let's see here. What does it say? It didn't stop. It didn't stop him. Play this card to negate a capture card. So if someone's trying to get rid of your monster and they play something to negate it, you can pay 3 Scooby snacks and negate that one and keep your monster in play. So that's a good one. Another location, the Relic Room, a major one, because you can tell by the fright value of 11. Prompter's Box. Play this on the stage. You may discard this to search your play deck for the violin case room. So another one of those ones where if you have successfully investigated the master location, you can use that to go right to finding that minor location and possibly ask 3 or turn over 3 clues. Tubs of Dry Ice, another item, another free one, so that's not too bad. Play on a location, discard to add +2 to the Mystery Incorporated player's Scooby snack total and 1 to the fright level. of the location. So you do get 2 Scooby snacks, but you kind of shoot yourself in the foot a little bit, adding one to the fry level. But who knows? Those 2 Scooby snacks could uh, allow you to bring a valuable card into play. Check this out. So here's one of the boosters here still has the price tag on it as $1. Now, I wish I had paid only $1. I paid just a little bit more than that. So congratulations to that eBay seller for making a small profit. Let's get this open here. We'll see. Oh, come on now. Let's see what we have here. Hopefully it's sealed so well because it's holding a foil for me. Let's see what happens. Pull that out of there. Dodge 'em car, another item for 4 Scooby snacks. That's expensive. Let's see what it does. Play Dodge 'em car on a Mystery Incorporated member. Discard Dodge 'em to negate the effect of any card played on that member. So if someone was going to make that Mystery Incorporated person go back to the malt shop and not contribute their bravery to the skill check there, you could use that to help them out. Drawbridge costs 3. Play drawbridge on a location. Discard drawbridge to negate your opponent's Mystery Incorporated movement to this location. So if somebody's moving around, they can use the mystery machine to move from one location to the other. You can put a stop to that and possibly keep them from investigating more than one site on a turn. Back from his watery grave. Ooh. Play this card to return a monster card from your discard pile to your hand. That's a valuable one to have too. I do see I'm looking at the viewer count, and we have two right now. So Stephen is already here, and we've been talking back and forth with Stephen. But to those of us joining us live, thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. Feel free to comment. Please do. Also, I'll take a quick commercial break of my own. Please, if you're enjoying this broadcast, click that like button. It lets me know that you want to see more Scooby Doo content, and we'll definitely help you out with that. I've got plenty of players lined up, people who are looking to open boosters and play the game. So we'll see more of that. But definitely send that like button. That sends me a message that you want to see more Scooby Doo content. So that's. Thank you very much for joining us and for participating there. Shaggy is a ghost. Play this. Oh, excuse me. Play on your villain phase. Opponent's Shaggy becomes a +1 monster for the rest of the turn. That'll cost you 3 Scooby snacks, but that could turn Shaggy around to play against you. Monster Decoy. I'll look at all this text on here. Cost 2. Play Monster Decoy on a location. Discard Monster Decoy to play a card face down at this location. This is a new one for me. What does it say here? Reveal the hidden card as one of your actions. When revealed, if you are legally able to play the card, you may do so by paying the Scooby costs. So if maybe you did not successfully investigate a location, you can put a card there, kind of plant it upside down, and have it there for when you go back on your next turn to take a look, or to do that. That might give your opponent pause to try and oppose that one, because they don't want to waste a bunch of Scooby snacks if you've got a really great card under there that might negate something that they want to do. Oh, Stephen, friend of the channel, Stephen Arvidsson, ladies and gentlemen, from Alien Investigations. Thank you for that. Another site here, there's the Temple in the Hills that the one card was referring to. Major location for 11. Was that say, oh, come on, you scaredy cats. How many times did you hear that watching Scooby Doo? After a Mystery Incorporated member, except Velma, has been forced to move from a location by a monster, play this card to return that member to their original location. So another great way if your opponent has played a card that moves one of your Mystery Incorporated people away from the location, you can use that to bring them back, except Velma. Unfortunate, since I have that foil card, but Samson the Strongman. This is a kind of a funny one, so I'll read this. It costs 1 Scooby snack, and it's a friend of the Mystery Incorporated, so reduces the fright value of a location by 1. And the funny trick with this one, play Samson the Strongman to lower the fright level of a location by 1, which is the printed value. If Samson the Strongman is at a location with Max the Midget, I don't think that's politically correct anymore, but Samson lowers the fright level by 2. Kind of a fun way to play out the episode. There's the big top and the costume change tent and that kind of thing. So if you have Samson and Max and play them at the same location, they double their thing, and it kind of helps with the episodic feel if you're a nostalgia person like myself. Ebenezer Sharp, a friend of the Mystery Incorporated, costs 1 Scooby snack. Ebenezer Sharp lowers the fry level by 1. And the last one from this particular pack, Pulling the Shade, costs 5 Scooby snacks. So we definitely want to see what this one does for us. Play this card during your Mystery Incorporated turn. Your opponent may not play a monster card on the next action. So that's another helpful one to kind of keep your opponent from changing that fright level, especially if you know what they have in their hand. There's cards that let you look at your opponent's hand. So if you know they have a big monster coming up, you can take actions to take care of that. Let's keep moving here. There's Nothing to Be Afraid Of. Costs 1 Scooby snack. Plays a card to lower the fright level at a location by 2 for the rest of the turn. Not too bad. There we go. Ghost of Zentao. That's it's not the Mask of Zentao. I got a little excited there for a second, but it cost us 5 and it's +5, so it's a pretty powerful monster. Let's take a look. After the Ghost of Zentao is put into play, you may play Chinese zombies, another possibly not politically correct one, but may play Chinese zombies at the same location for free. So you can actually play 2 monsters at that location for the price of 1. So if that's part of your strategy, you want to include those cards in there. That's a good one. Museum Rear Entrance, a minor location with a cost of 12. Successfully investigate that one, and you can turn 3 clues over. Fu Leng Chi, a friend of Mystery Incorporated because he reduces the fright level by 1. While in play, he prevents your opponent from playing any monsters with the word ghost in the title for the remainder of the turn. So you get the -1, but it costs you 2 Scooby snacks. But if you're privy to what your opponent has in their deck and in their hands, maybe that would help you out. Moving along, another event. Man's best friend is, what does that say? Is a mouse. Play this card during your villain turn. Scooby Doo becomes a +1 friend for the rest of the turn. So you could flip Scooby Doo around on its owner or whoever's playing the Mystery Incorporated turn. You can flip that around on him. Sarah Jenkins adds 1 to the fright level, so it's definitely one of the villains, a friend of the villain side there. Costs 2 Scooby snacks. Once in play, Sarah Jenkins negates a capture card played by your opponent. So if you already have a monster at that location, that will prevent your the Mystery Incorporated team from getting rid of your monsters. So that's helpful. Another free item, Liverwurst. 0 cost, which is nice. Discard Liverwurst to add 1 to your Scooby snack total or lower the fright level of a monster at this location by 1. So it's kind of a dual use, and because it's free, it might come in handy for you. Another event. Shags, do you have my extra glasses? Oh, another familiar phrase from Velma on the show. Play this card to negate the effect of any card that lowers a Mystery Incorporated's bravery to 0. Interesting, a little situational, but could come in handy. Here's a cheap monster for you. It costs 1, adds 1 to the fright level of a location. When the bat comes into play, your opponent must lose 1 Scooby snack if they have one. So, for the cost of a Scooby snack, you raise the fright level by 1, and take a Scooby snack away from Mystery Incorporated, so that could be handy. Shadow Phantom adds 2 to the fright level, only costs 2. Another location, there's the museum. That's the master location of that group. And then soap, I hardly use it myself. I can't imagine being in the mystery machine with Shaggy. With that having been the case, cost 2, place the card at the same location as Shaggy to move a monster to another legal location until the end of your next action. Not too bad. If you're ready to finish off that location, you can get rid of a monster if you've got more than one location on the field. You can get rid of that monster for an action and possibly resolve the site without that monster causing you any trouble. Ooh, throw that out there. Here's the Vampire 6 Scooby Snacks. It's an event. This is your last warning. 6 Scooby Snacks. Play on your villain phase. If you have 6 Scooby Snacks on your villain phase, you're playing a good game. Your opponent must pass after his next action, which is funny because if each player passes, if your opponent is forced to pass and you pass, if you both pass one right after the other, that ends the turn. So that could force your opponent to end their turn prematurely, which is that's kind of funny. That's one of those gotcha cards that I keep mentioning. Ghost Clown, 8 Scooby Snacks, adds 3 to the fright value. Let's check this out. Discard Ghost Clown to allow you to use your opponent's Mystery Incorporated members to investigate one of your locations on the table. If successful, you may draw one of your clues. Regardless of the outcome, the opponent may not investigate this turn. Return the Mystery Incorporated group to the original location after this turn. Well, that definitely justifies the 8 cost of that. But yeah, that's an interesting one to play. Oh, come on, Stephen. I know you're a clean cut there. Clean cut guy. Sawmill, another minor location with the 12. The Creeper adds 3 to the fright value. When the Creeper comes into play, you may take 2 Scooby Snacks from your opponent. So there's another way to, maybe you're looking to play the Ghost Clown. That might help you out. Get a couple Scooby Snacks in your on your side. Let's see here. It's only a power failure. Subtract 1 from the fright level of a location or cancel the effect of a darkness card. We didn't mention that darkness card. You'll see that darkness as a keyword here in the game's game effect text. Not too many of those out there, but the darkness cards do have, I couldn't cite one right off the top of my head, but they do have much more powerful effects. So if someone plays a darkness card, it's in your best interest to be able to negate that. So that's something interesting to have. Might want to consider that myself. You take one; it's free, so you take one off the fright level. So there's no real cost to it. You take one off the fright level, and if someone pulls a darkness card, you're ready for it. So that's good. There's the chicken coop location. Surfboard, 1 Scooby Snack plays this card on a location. You may discard the surfboard to lower the fright level by 1. Might come in handy. Ghost Sword, either play Ghost Sword as a +1 monster or attach to Redbeard to give him a +2 to his fright level. As you can imagine, Redbeard, one of the monsters that the villain side would play, so adding his sword to that, 2 to his fright level, or add 2 to the fright level. That could be powerful. Hopefully we'll run into Redbeard and we can see what that combination will look like. In fact, I'm going to set that to the side. If we run into Redbeard, we might take a look at that. There's the Elephant, another free one. Play on the costume tent. You may discard to search your card or search your play deck for the menagerie location. So another one of those ones that helps you once you've investigated the master location to find that minor location and be able to play that. Here's the library. 2 Scooby Snacks play this card to draw the top 2 cards of your play deck and add them to your hand. Drawing more cards, never a bad thing. Cost you 2 Scooby Snacks, but sometimes if you have a dead hand, drawing extra cards. Sorry about that glare there. But drawing extra cards could be life and death as far as your turn is concerned. What does this guy say? Eyes in the Cave. This is a free event. Play this card to add 1 to the fright level of a location for the rest of the turn. Not too bad if you're the villain in that at that particular time. So you get a free add 1, free +1 to the fright level. Send that on its way. Another event. Not sure, this might be more Scooby talk here, so I'm not even going to try to read that, but cost 3, play on opponent's Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo is -1 bravery for the rest of the turn, and opponent loses 1 Scooby Snack, so it's kind of a double whammy there. An interesting one to play. Time for a little ventriloquism. I actually remember that episode. I watched these faithfully all the time. Watched a little more TV than I care to admit when I was a lot younger, but makes me great at trivia games. Anyway, time for a little ventriloquism. Cost 3, play during your Mystery Incorporated phase. You may move one of your opponent's monsters to another legal location. So that's another big help. And look at that, is he wearing the pirate hat? And both of these, and of course, first get rid of that a ridiculous paper hat. Play this card to discard any item in play. That's not bad. Speaking of items, here's the Fun House Mirror, another free one. Play on a location. Discard to auction the right to raise or lower the fright value of the location by +2 or -2. The winner pays the winning bid in Scooby Snacks. Oh, an interesting effect. That's kind of cool, actually. But could end up costing you a lot of Scooby Snacks in the end to try and protect your site and be able to investigate it. Let's see here. So they think they've escaped me. 2 Scooby Snacks. Play this card to immediately negate the effect of a capture card. So another way to prevent your monster or villain from being taken off of or being discarded from a location. What you can't see can't hurt you, if only that was true. Play this card on a Mystery Incorporated member. Your opponent may not lower that member's bravery by any means for the rest of the turn. Interesting one to safeguard your group. Costs you 4 Scooby Snacks, so it'll cost you a little bit, but could help you out when someone pulls one of those ones that specifically hurts Shaggy or Velma or something like that. Having that handy might help you out. Another master location, the museum there. Event costs 1, open the shade. I think we already read this one. Play to lower the fright level of a monster by 1 for the rest of the turn. That's pretty cool. Underwater Passage. This is another one that if you've already investigated the master location, you can use this to find the minor location that's associated with it. Play on the sunken ship. You may discard this card to search your play deck for the lighthouse location. So that'll help you out. Pulling the Shade. Now, did we just see this, but with an alternate art? Let's take a look at these real quick here. Perhaps I'm mistaken. Yeah, never mind. Carry on. Play this card during your Mystery Incorporated turn. Your opponent may not play a monster card on the next action. There's Mr. Greenway again. Mr. Leach, a friend for the Mystery Incorporated group, cost 2 Scooby Snacks, is a -1 to the fright value. While in play, Mr. Leach pets Scooby Doo to raise Scooby Doo's bravery by 1. That's kind of a interesting way of wording that, but adds 1 to Scooby's bravery. So like I was saying, the Mystery Incorporated, if you send them all to one location, they're a -10. Now that's fine with a master location that takes the fright level down to 0 right away. But on the major and minor locations, they're 11 and 12. So you already need to have a friend or an item or something to adjust that, or use one of the characters, one of their effects. So that would help you raise Scooby's bravery level and get you at least another one to help you if you're at a major location where the cost is 11. Let's see here. Monkeys are funny indeed. 3 Scooby snacks. Play this card to lower the fright level of a monster by 3 for the rest of the turn. This may not lower the fright level below 0. That's fair enough, but not too bad, especially for those more powerful ones like we saw the Kooky Space Ghost. It's 5. Oh, there it is. Mask of Zentao. Very nice. Again, I'm having a lot of good luck. This is one that I talked about at the beginning that I was hoping I would get, so we'll put that at the malt shop. Let's take a quick peek at it. Mask of Zentao. Cost 5 Scooby snacks. Play Mask of Zentao on a Mystery Incorporated member. That member may not use their printed special ability until a card effect is used to remove the mask. So until you can capture a monster using one of those capture cards, this stays there. You can put this on any one of the Mystery Incorporated members and take away their game effect. And a lot of times that can be they might need that, and you've taken it away. So that's a good card to have. I like that card. I'm glad we found that one. I did not have any copies of that at all, so glad that popped up. Let's get back to the Haunted Mansion here. Come on now. There we go. The Mystery Machine breaks down. Play this card to prevent your opponent from using the special ability of the Mystery Machine for the rest of the turn. So this is kind of a counter effect. There is an item card called the Mystery Machine that you can add to the Mystery Incorporated, and it gives you a -1 for your bravery. If you're just joining us, it's kind of like golf. Minus numbers are good when you're the Mystery Incorporated player, and having the Mystery Machine gives you that extra -1 to help you out at a location. And this is the counter effect to that one. So the villain would play that to take care of that for you. First, get rid of that ridiculous paper hat. We've seen that one. We've got Shaggy and Scooby. Cost 2, play on your villain phase to cancel a just played capture card or card effect. So that's another nice one. Kind of the Langley of Scooby Doo. Stephen will appreciate that reference there. Oh, look at that. I was just saying at the beginning, I need a buffet table at 3. I got one earlier, and there's another copy. So that's good. Now I can have more than one. I think you can have up to 4. I could be mistaken on that. I have up to 4. Hopefully Stephen can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I believe you can have up to 4 of each card, each unique card. Rope and Plank Bridge, a free one. So let's check it out. Play on the Chicken Coop. You may discard this card to search your play deck for the Hermit of the Hill Cave location. So that's another one that helps you if you've investigated the master location. You can find the minor location associated with that. Speaking of master location, there's the barn. Yep. Another master location, the Gypsy Wagon. Oh, a duplicate in the same pack, a Rope and Plank Bridge, and the library. We've seen that one already too. So let's keep moving here. So some good packs, even though they were put together randomly from different sellers that I purchased from eBay. I've gotten a couple cards that I was hoping to get, and a foil card. Even though it's a duplicate of one I already have, still a foil card is always kind of fun to pull. I'm going to put this stack's getting a little big, so we're going to put that to the side here. We'll keep going. Giant Steamer Trunk, we've already seen that one. Ghost Soup, so we're starting to get into the duplicates here, so that'll help us move a little faster. White Timber Wolf, play White Timber Wolf to lower the fright level by 1 or discard to move Scooby back to this location. So that'll help you out if someone's made Scooby go back to the malt shop on you. He's taking a ride on the Ferris wheel, which we've already checked out. There were 2 of me. Oh, another one that I was looking for. That's great. So a second copy of that one. In fact, I'm going to set that to the side. That's a good one to have. Just to refresh your memory, play this card during your Mystery Incorporated phase to allow one of your Mystery Incorporated members to be at 2 locations. So that'll help you out if you have to split up the Scooby Gang to investigate multiple locations. That means you can have almost like a copy of one of them at a separate location. So that's pretty good. We didn't get a chance to look for clues. Let's see, it costs 10 Scooby snacks. That's an expensive one. You got to save up for that. Play this card to reset the current turn. All cards in play for both players except locations, Mystery Incorporated, and the Mystery Machine are discarded. Yikes, that's a big reset button that you would play maybe if you think you might lose the game if someone is going to successfully investigate a site. You can put a stop to that. That's kind of a dirty trick, but 10 Scooby snacks is a tough one. You start as 10. You start with 10 as the Mystery Incorporated player, but as you switch during the commercial break to being the villain, you don't like reset. You just take what you didn't use on the Mystery Incorporated turn. So if you used any of your Scooby snacks during your Mystery Incorporated turn, you wouldn't have enough unless you had some of those fun cards that I was talking about, the buffet dinner at 3 or the dining room, and you could add some back to your thing. But 10 Scooby snacks is a tough one. Those Scooby snacks, they don't carry over either. So when you're the villain, it's kind of use them or lose them. You're using the leftover ones from your Mystery Incorporated turn. And if you have any left over from that, once you become the Mystery Incorporated player again, you draw back up to 10, but you don't keep, like say you had 2 left over, you don't get to have 12. You just draw back up to 10. So those 2 were essentially wasted. So the villain phase, you definitely want to use it or lose it. But to have 10 at one time, you gotta have the right cards to make that happen. Hey Baylor, play this card to capture a monster. You must move a member of Mystery Incorporated to the malt shop to use this effect. That it costs 0, so you do get rid of a monster. You lose one of your Mystery Incorporated people back away from the site, back to the malt shop. But we've seen cards that can negate that or just move them back again. So there's a trade-off there if you build your deck right and you're able to play your cards and hold on to them for the right combination. You could do that and help yourself out a lot. Here's the item Handkerchief for 2. Play Handkerchief on Scooby Doo. Discard the handkerchief to lower Scooby's bravery by 1. Frankencastle, master location. Dead End. We've seen that one, I believe, play on the Temple in the Hills. Yeah. Plunger Arrows, we've seen that one to capture a monster at a location. And Skeleton Head, we've seen that too. So we'll just move right along here. Get this pack open. This one came apart pretty easily, so we'll get right into it. Here we go. The Mystery Machine breaks down. Pile of Dead Fish. I included this in one of my decks coming up here. Cost 3, play Pile of Dead Fish on a monster. Discard this card to negate the effect of a capture card. So again, a nice negate effect if your opponent is trying to capture one of your monsters and send it to the discard pile. Haha, oh, this is more Scooby talk, so let's get this up close. Haha, you missed me. Rurished me. Yeah. Cost 2, play this card to cancel the effect of an event card played by your opponent. That's a good negate effect. Girl Dog Puppet. Uh, Costs 2 plus 1 to fright level of a location for the rest of the turn. If Girl Dog Puppet is discarded uh, with a card effect, so as say you or your opponent use a card effect to force the item into the discard pile or something like that. Scooby Doo at the same location is moved to the malt shop. Discard this card at the end of the turn. So you could potentially, you know, keep that on hand as a dirty trick, or play it on yourself and force Scooby Doo. You know, you may lose that item card, but you could force Scooby Doo back to the malt shop, especially if you know your opponent can't negate it. You can run the fastest. You can run the fastest if he's there. Interesting phrase. I don't remember that one. Play during your Mystery Incorporated phase. Pull a random card from your opponent's hand. If you pull a monster card, discard it. Place any other card type on top of the owner's draw deck. That's not too bad, but it does cost 6. So you're kind of playing a little bit of a gamble. 6 is a lot of Scooby snacks to pay for a card effect that may or may not help. The lights are going off all over. Only costs 2, an event card. Here is the, let's move this here. This is the darkness card that was referred to early on. That there was a card that we came across that negated the effect of a darkness card. And there is, that's a little blurry, but there's the darkness card keyword that I was talking about. And this particular card, pull the top card from your play deck. The fright level is raised by the Scooby snack cost on that pulled card. So that has potential, especially if you got some high value cards. Say you use a card effect to rearrange the top cards of your deck, and you know you placed something like this one on top that costs 6 Scooby snacks, raising the fright level by 6. Is pretty devastating. So that's an interesting card if you're able to play it right. Might not be a bad one to have. Here's an item crystal ball for 4. Play on a location, discard this card to look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's play deck and return them in any order you choose. That's interesting one. There's the ghost ship. We saw that referred to earlier, one of those cards that if you've successfully investigated a master location, you can find its corresponding minor location. So that's the ghost ship, the master location that would play with that. Freddy, where are you? Cost of 2. This is an event. Play this card to lower Freddy's bravery to 0 for the rest of the turn. Yikes! That could definitely hurt you. There's the major location, sunken ship. Log chute. This is an interesting one. It's a free item, so let's go ahead and just check out what this one does. Play on Strange Cave. You may discard cards, search your play deck for the sawmill location. So there's another one that helps you if you've already investigated the master locations. That's what that is. And then Prompter's Box, we've already seen that same effect, but works on the master location called the stage. Helps you find the minor location for that one. There, it's only a power failure. We've seen that one, so we'll move on. There's Captain Cutler. There's a villain I remember from the TV show. Captain Cutler's seaweed-covered ghost adds 5 to the fright value. Costs 5, so it's a little pricey, but Captain Cutler's seaweed-covered ghost raises the fright level by 5, so the effect is just what's printed on there. Hollowed out log, play on a location, discard to pull the top card from either player's play deck. If it's an item, you may play it for free if legally allowed to, so that's not too bad. There's a location, the dungeon. Yum, 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 and a liverwurst a la mode. Oh, there's a nod to some of the crazy combinations that Shaggy and Scooby would eat. Cost of 3, this card may be played on your opponent's Shaggy. Opponent must feed or lose one Scooby snack or move Shaggy to the malt shop for the rest of the turn. Another one that'll get rid of Shaggy for a while there. Oh, 2,000-year-old mummy. That's one I was talking that I needed for my collection. We got that one and talked about it earlier, so I'll just set that one to the side. So that's a good one to have. I'll have to rethink my deck for my upcoming game. There's Elephant. We've seen that one. Mrs. Cutler. Here's the dining room. Play dining room to add one to your Scooby snack total. That's another one I was looking for. So very glad that that one popped up. I'm going to set it to the side. There's the barn. There's Dracula. We've seen that one. And sunken ship location. Here's another one with this $1 price tag. And I think that was the one that had the Velma in it. So if I'm lucky, maybe this one will have a foil card in it too. We'll see what happens. Here we go. I have a hunch. There's another one that Velma would always say at cost of 2. Name a card. Look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Name a card. So if you would say the title of that particular card, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. If the name card is there, you discard it and return the others to the top of the deck in any order. So if you know what your opponent is going to play, you can kind of use that against them. Clown's Rubber Ladder. Here's a new one for us, an item that costs 3. Play this card on a location. You may discard Clown's Rubber Ladder to negate the effect of any item card used at the same location. So another negate card that you would use. Mr. Carswell, we've seen him already. Haha, you missed me. Yep, we've seen that one. Ooh, upside down. The lights are going off all over. We've seen that one too. So let's keep going. What you can't see won't hurt you. There's Freddy. Where are you? Speedboat. Cost of 3. Discard the speedboat to move Mystery Incorporated to any legal location. Your turn ends after your next action. So if you can pull it off, you could use the speedboat to move the entire, not just one character, but the entire Mystery Incorporated to another location. If you can pull off that, if you can pull off that investigation in one action, you've investigated 2. That's pretty valuable. Curio Shop, another master location. Jack in the Box, cost of 0. So let's check this out. Play Jack in the Box on a location. Discard the Jack in the Box to raise the fright level of the location by 1 next turn. So that's one the villain would use against you. Evil Teddy Bear. I saw this one when I was making my list or making my deck the other night, and I really wish it was Evil Bunny and +1 if you get that reference. But this is Evil Teddy Bear. Attach Evil Teddy Bear to a monster in play. Discard Evil Teddy Bear to give +1 fright level to a monster. So that's an interesting one to have. Boost up a monster. And there's that handkerchief again. So we'll move on to the next one. Stephen, if you're still watching, if we ever get to a point where we start making fan-made cards for this, we'll have to make a Nuffle Bunny card to go alongside that one there. Here's another one we've already seen, Girl Dog Puppet, one that can move Scooby, so that's a good one to have. Back from his watery grave, we've seen that one already. The Butler, 0, but 0 change, but 2 Scooby snacks. That's interesting combination. Discard the Butler. I beg your pardon. Discard the Butler to negate the effect of an item used by your opponent at a minor location. So if you're investigating one of those valuable minor locations, that could be a big help for you. There's Funhouse Mirror. We've seen that one already. In the rare cards here, show them the clue, Shaggy. Play this card when your opponent is able to draw any clues. You may also draw an equal number of clues. I think we've seen that one, but that's a good one because if your opponent is drawing clues, you at least get to draw one as well. He's Fast, an event that costs 3 Scooby snacks. Play this card before you move Mystery Incorporated for the turn. You may move Mystery Incorporated and play another card during this round. Interesting. Oh, yeah, this is true. Stephen, going back to my reference to Nuffle Bunny, there's already a fan-made card for Nuffle Bunny in the X-Files, but I just wanted to get that out there, get that name out there, and get that reference. Jack in the Box, we've seen that one. Hot dog stand, I remember that from the cartoon. Play hot dog stand to add one to your Scooby snack supply. Not a bad thing to have. There's the stage, a major location. Underwater passage. I think we've seen that one play on the sunken ship. Yeah, that the sunken ship is the master location. That would help you get the lighthouse, the minor location for that one. And a location there, Gypsy Wagon. That's a master one. Only costs or only has a fright level of 10. First one that actually opened up nice and easy. Let's see what we get here. Chandelier, we've seen that already, and the Ferris wheel. Fortune teller, I don't think we've seen this one. Cost of 3 doesn't change anything, but discard the fortune teller to look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Replace them in any order you wish. So that's the card that would help you. I was saying earlier, if you rearrange your cards so that you have that really high cost level card on top, you can play the card to increase the fright level by the cost of the Scooby snack of that card. So if you have a high value Scooby snack card on top, you can really pull one over on the Mystery Incorporated. There's White Timber Wolf again, so we'll move along. The Plank, cost of 10. Yikes. Play during your villain phase. Each, another one where you have to have 10 on your villain phase. That's have to think about that and see if I can make that work. Play during your villain phase. Each player draws a card from their play deck. If the villain player has a higher Scooby snack value on his card, the turn ends immediately. So you could end it for your opponent there. Not too bad, but cost of 10. Yikes. Phone booth, cost of 3. Play phone booth on a location. Discard the phone booth to move one of your Mystery Incorporated members to this location. So that's an interesting one. Again, helpful when you want to split up the Scooby Gang and investigate multiple locations in the same turn. Finding a bone. This should be interesting. An event card for 2. Take the top card from your play deck. Take half of the cost of that card and Scooby snacks from your opponent, up to all of them, and discard the drawn card. Yikes. Oh, there's Miss Cutler again. We'll move on. Costume tent, the major location. I talked about that earlier. Suit of armor. This is a new one for us. Cost of 2, an item card that costs 2 Scooby snacks. Discard the suit of armor to move a monster to a new location. That's another good one. Your opponent may move the monster back to this location as his next action. So you could move a monster and then force your opponent to burn an action to get rid of that monster, and you possibly get that extra action that you need to change the game. Hey Shaggy, I see you found us. Play this card to move Shaggy to Fred's location. Not bad. You could move Fred to one location and the rest of Mystery Incorporated to another one. And if you had this card, you could move the rest of the Mystery Incorporated characters to where Fred is waiting. So that's kind of an interesting play. It didn't stop him. Cost of 3, event card. Play this card to negate a capture card played as your opponent's action. Playing this card counts as your action. Well, that's not too bad. 3 Scooby snacks, but if you have a good high value monster at the location, you definitely want to keep it there. Get back up there. Oh, biplane. This is a card. It wasn't in my list of cards that I was looking for, but it is one I know I don't have in my collection. So that's nice. Discard biplane to capture a monster at this same location. Now, if I remember correctly, there's a card that is the opposite of that that your opponent could use, called biplane crashes or something like that, and it negates this specific card, which is kind of a funny move there. Giant steamer trunk is one we've seen. There's the violin case room, that minor location that we saw. You could use the card to find that. Same with that lighthouse. So that's good to have those in the collection. He's fast. Play this card before you move Mystery Incorporated for the turn. You may move Mystery Incorporated and play another card during this round. Leave it to Daphne to pick the wrong door out. Daphne got played dirty on that one. Played during your villain phase, randomly pull a card from opponent's hand. If you pull a monster, put it into play for free. If it is not a monster card, put it in the owner's discard pile. Cost 2, not too bad, especially if you know what your opponent has in their hand. You could try that one. There's Pop, a friend of the Mystery Incorporated, so it takes 1 off the fright level. Prompter's Box, we've seen that. Hollow Mirrors, a nice location there. There's the Ghost Sword again. We already have one set aside for that. Hopefully we run into Redbeard so we can see that combination. Frankencastle and the Secret Cove locations. Let's keep moving here. Fortunately and unfortunately, we keep running into cards that I've already gotten, so I kind of move this along a little bit. We've been going for an hour and a half already, so thank you if you're still here watching. Hopefully you're learning a lot about the game and kind of getting familiar with some of the cards, so you can take that to your deck building. And definitely reach out to me here at Studio Squim if you want to play a game. I definitely would love to play. We can do that on camera or off camera, whichever you're more comfortable with. Time for a little ventriloquism. During your Mystery Incorporated phase, you may move one of your opponent's monsters to another legal location, so that's good. Ghost of Zentao, we've seen that. And there's the Girl Dog Puppet. Giant Steamer Trunk. There's another phone booth. That's a good one. Just how I planned it. Boy, if I had a dime for every time I said that in my life, I'd have probably 20 cents. Let's see, it's free one, so let's see what it does for us. Return one of your cards and play to your hand. Immediately play another card from your hand. Pay the difference in cost of the two. Interesting. There's a Funland location and the torture chamber, a little ominous for a kids show, but there it is, a major location. Hay bales, we've seen that one. Mr. Wickles, cost of 1. He's a friend of the Mystery Incorporated, so he removes the fright level 1 from the fright level. Mr. Wickles lowers 1, so just a printed effect on that one. There's the crystal ball again. I'll make him pay for what he did to my hair. Cost 2 event, play this card during your Mystery Incorporated phase to make the villain player immediately lose up to 2 Scooby snacks. Not a bad one to have there. To kind of keep your villain is already, the villain is already kind of at a disadvantage as they don't have as many Scooby snacks as they would probably like. So to have that, to have them lose 2 more could make a big difference. So it's not too bad of a card to have. Well, it got away. We've seen that one. Scooby Doo lays an egg. I remember seeing this in the list when I was making my deck. Scooby Doo may not be moved from his current location for the rest of the turn. So not too bad if Scooby's an important part of your strategy, or maybe your villain is going to try to move Scooby back to the malt shop or something. That'll take care of that. Scooby snacks, boxes of them. Strange how some of these phrases trigger a memory, but yes, I remember them saying that all the time. Play this card, it costs 2. Play this card to pull the top card of your deck. Take an amount of Scooby snacks equal to the cost of the drawn card. So another one where if you've used some of the previous cards we've seen to rearrange the top cards of your deck, you can use this one to kind of take advantage of that and put a high cost card on top, and then use this to boost your Scooby snacks. So for some of those high cost cards that may cost 10 Scooby snacks, I was saying that'd be a tough one to get to. There it is. That's part of your strategy to get those Scooby snacks and be able to get 10 or more, so you can have an effective villain phase, or really go nuts on your Mr. Incorporated phase. Now we do have one of our viewers here, Reptar33. Where did you find a booster box to open? And that's a great question, because those are tough to find. Unopened boxes are tough to find. Not only is the game a little bit older, 2006, 2007, but a very limited run. They did not print nearly as many as someone who is releasing a collectible card game would print and release. You can find individual boosters. You see those out on eBay as $6-7. I am a notorious cheapskate. I would not pay more than that for sure. Some people are trying. The wonderful thing about eBay and capitalism is you can ask whatever you want, but whether or not the market will pay it is a whole nother show. If you find a box, snap it up. Even if you're a cheapskate like me, get it, because that's a tough one to find, and then you're a little better off playing the odds as far as getting super rare cards and foil cards and stuff. And yes, Stephen, thank you. I have had a lot of good luck, especially like I was saying, I've said once or twice that I bought this pile of cards, this stack of boosters from multiple eBay sellers at different times, and they just kind of all added up. And so I'm opening them at random, so no odds that I can use. Let's get back to it here. The Creeper, we've seen that one already. Scooby Doo says the coast is clear. An event for 3 Scooby Snacks. Play this card at the same location as your Scooby Doo. Not too hard. Your opponent may not play any monsters at this location with a fright level higher than +2 for the rest of the turn. Another good one to help yourself if you don't have a lot of friends or items to boost up your, or to negative on your bravery level. Sorry, I got a little distracted there, but that can help you out to keep someone from playing one of those big monsters that might be a problem for you. Here's Mr. Barnstorm, friend of the Mystery Incorporated. Play Mr. Barnstorm to lower the fright level of location by 2, as we can see there, the -2, or discard Mr. Barnstorm to move any or all of Mystery Incorporated to a location with the same keyword. Interesting. I haven't seen too many keywords other than darkness. Maybe someone out there knows what they mean by that. We'll take another look at location. We'll take a closer look and see what that means. Yeah, Jeepers the Creeper. Let's see here. Oh, there's that card I was talking about. There's the biplane that you can use to move Mystery Incorporated. Here's the biplane crash for 3 Scooby Snacks. Play this card to prevent the removal of a monster card from the location by any means for the rest of the turn. So not exactly the effect that I thought it was, but kind of a funny play on the title of the cards there, and using things from the same episodes. Epic Fails, thank you very much for joining me and for the compliment there. I hope I've convinced you to open another tab in your browser and start looking at eBay for that 2-player game. I've got an example here. The Expandable card game. This is a 2-player set, so when you buy this, it'll be again, at the time of this broadcast, February 6th of 2025, you can get one for about $20-ish or so. Not a bad price considering you get enough cards for 2 players. It's not like a starter deck that came with other collectible card games where you buy a deck and it only works for yourself, and then you have to find another person who's got another starter deck. This will help you out with 2 players, and then it comes with the scorecard that you need, the Mystery Incorporated cards, of course, the instructions. Wouldn't be a very fun game without those, but not a bad introductory price to get into the game. And like I said, that stack's getting a little big, but if you're a fan of the show like me, you grew up with the show, it's not a bad deal. Let's keep going here. Johnny the Puppet, and one Scooby Snack item. Discard Johnny the Puppet to look at a random card from your opponent's hand. Return the card afterwards. So that's another one where if you're a shrewd player, you can use some of those cards to pick a card from your opponent's hand and discard it. So you could possibly use that combination. There's the elephant. We've seen that one before. The library. Oh, another dining room. I'm going to set that to the side there. Going to have plenty of Scooby snacks, hopefully. And the prompters box. We've seen that one before as well. So we'll just keep moving here. All right, what do we have here? There's nothing to be afraid of. We've seen that one already. And Captain Cutler's Ghost. We can't go home now. Play this card. This cost of 3. Play this card to prevent any Mystery Incorporated member from being moved to the malt shop for the rest of the turn. So that's handy. You've seen some of the cards earlier that can force Scooby or Shaggy or any one of the Mystery Incorporated to the malt shop, and could make it difficult for you to meet that fright level. So that would help you with that. Here's the location, the sawmill. That's the minor location. Scooby Doo says the coast is all clear. We've seen that one. So let's keep going. There's the dog napper again. That's not a bad one. Here's a good one. I was talking earlier about the mystery machine. There's that card, mystery machine breaks down. That's referring to this card here, the mystery machine. It's a cost of 4 item. The mystery machine lowers the fright level of a location by 1 while in play. You do not have to discard to use this effect. The mystery machine counts as a member of the Mystery Incorporated for movement purposes. So if you get a card to move your Mystery Incorporated people, the mystery machine moves with it and helps you with a -1 to your fright level. So kind of a fun one to have to go along with the Mystery Incorporated group. There's a card. This one, it says counts as a member for movement purposes. There's a card in the Alien expansion, Scooby Doo and the Aliens 2, that is the mystery machine, but it is actually becomes a member of Mystery Incorporated as a character, so it can move along those lines. So that's kind of if you're looking for motivation to try and find those alien that Alien expansion, that particular Mystery Incorporated, that mystery machine card is a good one to have to make it part of the group and be a character in the group. So that's kind of a cool one. Here's Jack in the Box. We've seen that. Crystal Ball. Here's the barn. I'm wondering if they refer to the keyword, the master. It says master location in bold, and I'm wondering if that makes that a keyword. Let's go to the malt shop here and take a closer look. You can see where I was talking about master location is in bold, so I'm wondering if that's what they mean by keyword as far as moving Mystery Incorporated people to a site with the same keyword. Come on, you scaredy cats, which is a cost of 2. After a Mystery Incorporated member, except we've seen this one, has been forced to move from a location by a monster, play the card. Okay, and Mr. Wiggles, we've seen that one too. So we'll move on to the next booster. Let's see, Epic Fail says Magic the Gathering was my CCG back in the day, as with most people. But I think I might look into this. And yes, sir, I grew up with the cartoon. Excellent. You're the target audience. Congratulations. You're the demographic for this particular game. I have played a couple games. Stephen, who's with us here too, he and I played. You can see that game on his channel, the Alien Investigations channel. It was a special episode that we did. It was a real fun game. And I've played against a friend of the channel, Mr. John Hagee, who hopefully I have a game with coming up here pretty soon. So if you're looking for a sample or like a demonstration to go check out the game, you can look at my channel here, Studio Squim. We've got a couple there, and go to Alien Investigations and check out a game that's been played there as well. Stephen and I have played a game, and he's got a couple booster openings there as well. So if you're curious to see more. And I believe on Stephen's channel, I'm going to take just a couple minutes to plug Stephen's channel, Alien Investigations. The booster opening on his channel, I believe, was the Scooby Doo and the Aliens 2 expansion. So you'll see a whole different set of cards in that booster opening. So definitely worth a look. Go over to the Alien Investigations channel. I'll have the link in the description, and check that out. While you're there, definitely subscribe to the Alien Investigations channel. It's a great channel. Stephen has a lot of great content. He puts a lot of effort into everything he does on that channel. So it's definitely worth it. And Stephen is also telling us the titles of these event cards are difficult to keep in my head. I keep checking to see if I have a copy. Yeah, there are all these little phrases, all these little catchphrases from the cartoon. They kind of get jumbled up, especially when you're opening a large number of boosters like this. They kind of blend into each other. That's if you grew up with the show like Stephen and I and Epic Fail did, they all kind of come back to you. So hopefully the more we play, the more familiar they'll be. Here's the next booster. Let's keep going. Chandelier, we've seen before. Snow Ghost, we've seen. Oh, here's another one. I hesitate to read out loud, but I'm going to do it. It says here, A. Fong, Oriental art dealer. He's a cost of 3. He's a friend of the Mystery Incorporated, so he takes 3 off of the fright level, which is a pretty valuable number to help out. A. Fong is the only friend that may be played for the rest of the turn. So you do take 3 off your fright level, but I hope you're in a good position by the time you play him. But it does prevent your opponent from playing friends as well, so that might help you out. White Timberwolf, we've seen that one. Let's keep watch from here. This is one that I put in my deck, so let's read this one real quick. Costs 2 Scooby Snacks. Play this card immediately after your opponent plays a monster at the same location as Mystery Incorporated. Move Mystery Incorporated to a new legal location. So now, Jonathan, if you're watching, you know I plan to play multiple sites, but that's a good card to have. Oh, we lost the malt shop there. The battery in the camera failed on me, so that's also a reminder to me that I better speed it up. So let's keep going here. Relic Room, a nice location. Mr. Leach, we've seen him. He's the one that pets Scooby for +1. Here's Chinese Zombies that goes along with the ghost zombies. Chinese Zombies adds 1 to the fright level of a location. If you remember from earlier in the show, you get to play this one for free if you have that other card, so that's not too bad. There's the torture chamber again. Mr. Jenkins, a friend of Mystery Incorporated, takes 1 off of the fright value. Costs 2 Scooby Snacks, -1 to the fright level location. Mr. Jenkins counts as a Mystery Incorporated member while in play, so you could move him with the Mystery Incorporated. So a good card to have. In fact, I'm going to set that one to the side, as that might come in handy. Floor Grate. This is a one we haven't seen. It's a free item, so let's check it out. Play on Mad Scientist Rumpus Room. You may discard this card to search your play deck for the dungeon location. So it's another one of those ones where if you've successfully investigated the master location, you can immediately you can play it. You can get that minor location into your hand right away. I don't get the reference. Mr. Leroy Jenkins, is that from Scooby Doo, or is that from something else? Help me out. Oh, here we go. Here's another reference to the X-Files CCG. I wonder if the Relic Room has a Scully pewter in it. The magical, mysterious Scully pewter kind of the holy grail of X-Files CCG collectibles. If you're familiar, one of the promotional items they were going to make for the X-Files CCG was a pewter relief of some of the popular characters. They made Fox Mulder. They made a Scully one. They made a couple Fox Mulders. I think they made like 6 or 5. Steven's going to know this right off the top of his head, but they only made 2 of the Scully, and they disappeared out to who knows where when the game finally was discontinued. A lot of these promotional items disappeared to the different collectors, and the Scully pewters are ones who have disappeared, and somebody has one and won't fess up to it, and so it's been kind of our side mission to try and locate where that is without giving it away. But we'll see if we ever find that. Okay, so it's a World of Warcraft reference, so no wonder it went right over my head. I'm not familiar with the World of Warcraft universe. Let's keep going before I lose more cameras here. Funhouse Mirror, I believe we've seen that one. That's the one where you do the auction to either do a +2 or -2 to the fright value. Clown's Rubber Ladder, we've seen that one, so let's keep going. You Missed Me, yeah, we've seen that one. A Ridiculous Paper Hat, we've seen that one as well. You Can Run Faster If He's There, yep, we've seen that one too. Give me that, you mutt. That's another phrase that I can remember from the TV show. Cost 3, take any item from your opponent. Take any item your opponent has in play and use it as if it were your own, if normally allowed to do so. Put it in the owner's discard pile when you're done. I Just Lost My Appetite. We haven't seen that one. An event that costs 2. Play this card to prevent your opponent from gaining any additional Scooby snacks for the rest of the turn. So if you know someone's coming up with one of those heavy hitter expensive cards, you can prevent them from getting any extra Scooby snacks. Mr. Leach, we've seen. Tubs of Dry Ice, Handkerchief, yep. Mr. Jenkins, and Gypsy Wagon Location. We've seen all those. We're getting down to it here. It looks like we only have about 5 left. So, and I think we're going to see just a lot of duplicates. So we'll probably zip through this pretty quick. And just, we have 4 viewers now. If I could ask all 4 viewers joining me live to cross your fingers. Hopefully we'll get another foil in here. There's the biplane. Girl Dog Puppet, yeah, we've seen that. We've got Shaggy and Scooby, we talked about that. There's the Lighthouse Location. These 2 that are reversed in here, these are the rare ones. So it looks like no foil in this one. Let's keep going. This is your last warning. We've seen that one. When stuffed animals attack. Okay, we haven't seen this one, so let's read this one real quick. It's a cost of 3. Play this card on a location. You may, as your action for each round, pay 1 Scooby snack and put a +1 fright level stuffed animal taken into play at this location. Oh, token, excuse me, stuffed animal token into play at this location. There's an opportunity for me to make some custom tokens. I like doing that, part of my creative outlets there. Stuffed animal token in play at this location. Effect ends and all tokens are discarded at the end of the current turn. So that's kind of an interesting one. Keep kind of punishing your opponent over and over. There's the museum location. Graveyard of Ships, that's the master location there. Mr. C.L. Magnus, friend of the Mystery Incorporated, takes 2 off of the fright level, costs 2 Scooby snacks. Ghost Ship, there's Pop again, and Mr. Leach. All right, let's keep going here. Leroy Jenkins is definitely not from Scooby Doo. Yeah. Now I'm going to have to look that up after we're all done with the broadcast here. I'm going to, just so I can be in on the joke here. Let's see what happens. Count me out. Well, we haven't seen that one. Play this card to prevent any Mystery Incorporated member from being moved to the malt shop. Maybe we have seen that one. Sounds very familiar, or maybe the effect is similar. Oh, look at that. There's Mask of Zento. That's one that I was talking about at the beginning of the show. We got one earlier. This is one I was hoping to get. So yay. I would put that on the malt shop, but we lost that camera. So that's great. I'm going to set that one to the side because I definitely want that. There's Violin Case Room, another minor location. Girl Dog Puppet. Fortune Teller, yep. Bank Guard, this is one we haven't seen yet. -1 to the fright level and 1 Scooby Snack. Jack in the Box, Crystal Ball, Curio Shop, Costume Tent, and Theater. Quite a few locations there. Let's keep going. 3 more. Let's see what happens. Scooby Doo says the coast is all clear. Yeah, we've seen that one. Oh, look at that. There's the 2,000-year-old mummy. We're getting down to the bottom, and I'm getting all the ones that I was hoping for. So I'll set that one to the side. That's a great one. There's the ventriloquism, and of course, get rid of that ridiculous hat to go along with it. It got away. You missed me. Yep, Shadow Phantom. The Shadow Phantom raises the fright level of a location by 2. Wolfman raises the fright level by 3. Costs 3, but raising the fright level by 3 can be pretty good. Mad Scientist Rumpus Room. That's the location that was referred to earlier by that one card. There's Curio Shop, and there's another reference to soap. I hardly use it myself. Shaggy must reek. That guy between the weed and the BO. I think I would make him ride on the top of the Mystery Incorporated van rather than ride inside of it. But let's see, here are the last 2. And of course, this one is being a huge pain in the butt here. Let's see what we can do. There we go. I see a paper hat already. Yep, paper pirate hat. Discard to immediately counter any card or card effect. Not too bad, not too bad. In fact, I'm going to set that to the side there. There's the Oriental Art Dealer again. Sawmill. Scooby Snacks, boxes of them. We saw that one. Here were the 2 that were reversed. So the Ghost Clown, that was actually a pretty good one. We've seen that before. Scooby Doo says coast is all clear. It's another repeat. The Log Chute. The Big Top, there's Dracula again, Gypsy Wagon, Seal Magnus, and Samson. We didn't get Max the Midget in this. I was kind of hoping we would get one of those so we could show them together. Or we didn't get Redbeard either. So that's unfortunate. What does this say? Now that you've got 3 copies of Mummy, let's make a trade. I don't know. I might want to hold on to those. I'll have to go through and see how I can use it best. But I'm always open to trades, so we'll definitely look at that. So there is Scooby Doo lays an egg. We saw that one, prevents him from being moved. Pile of dead fish. We saw that one. Hollowed out log. Yep. I think we're going to see all repeats here because here are the 2 rares. It's Give Me That You Mutt, which we've seen, and oh, this is one we haven't seen yet. That's kind of cool for the last booster. You know the signal, don't you, Scoob? Play this card during your Mystery Incorporated phase to reform Mystery Incorporated at one location. So I guess if they're at different locations, you can put them all back onto one location and regroup the whole thing there. There's that bat, nice, easy, cost 1, +1 to the fright level. There's the Graveyard of Ships. Hot dog stand to get you some more Scooby Snacks. Mr. Leach, Hall of Mirrors, and It Didn't Stop Him, which is another one that we've seen. So quite a few cards here to put into my collection. That's quite a big stack there. Reach out to me if you saw a card that you need and you want to make a trade. Steven's already putting dibs on that 2,000-year-old mummy, so we'll see what happens. That's all of them. Thank you very much. That was quite a bit. I did, yeah, here we go, Stephen. I beg your pardon. I, as I would call this pretty successful. I pulled quite a few of the cards that I was hoping to get and a foil Velma. We'll see what I can do with that. I do have a duplicate of that, but going through 26 booster packs and talking through a lot of these cards, I think I've got Epic Fail on board. He's hopefully we'll be seeing him on camera and playing some games here in the near future. And I hope you enjoyed the broadcast and so you have a good understanding of the game and how it plays. You pulled a foil villain, very successful in my unpacking show. Well, but it's the luck of the draw, and those foil character cards are super tough to come by, more so than I would think on a normal thing. But let's wrap it up here. Thanks again for joining me for this broadcast. We opened a lot of cards, and I hope you have a good understanding of the game after seeing a lot of these being displayed. And hopefully I've encouraged you to go out and get that 2-player starter pack. Other than that, thanks again. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next broadcast.